Okay, it is my pleasure to introduce our next TED Talk speaker, Mr. Ray Coderre. Ray is Director of People Development and Operations for the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard, where he leads a team focused on empowering scientists to partner and collaborate in ways that catalyze their personal and professional growth and drive their scientific mission forward. A writing major, Ray spent his last semester at GMC serving as an intern for the presidential campaign of former Vermont Governor Howard Dean, and went on to become Assistant Dean for Faculty Affairs in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences at Harvard. Outside of work, Ray enjoys sailing around the North Shore of Massachusetts, working on his antique home, circa 1650, and trying to put those GMC-acquired skills to use in the garden. He also serves as a teaching assistant in stem cell and regenerative biology at Harvard College and the Harvard Extension School. Ray received his ALM in government from Harvard in 2012, and is a doctoral student in higher education administration at Northwestern University. Welcome, Ray.
Thanks so much, Chris. I feel a bit overdressed today, and you'll know why in a second. So, as a writing major, I figured I'd come up and tell you some stories. And I actually brought a picture. So if you look at this picture, can you all see it? It's a picture of me standing outside of Ames in the circle with my car. I look generally the same. I kind of have cut-off jeans and high boots with some spikes on them and a 6-inch red mohawk. And the reason I'm telling you about this great photo is I'm actually en route to go start my day as an intern for the campaign of Howard Dean. Something I never thought I would do, but ultimately proved incredibly cathartic for my professional career. And so I came to Green Mountain interested in writing, and I rolled up into Ames Circle and I just said, this is the place. And the only college I ultimately looked at or decided to go to, and I ended up here. And I spent my first couple years jumping into everything here. Writing, took economics with Paul Hancock, and I decided I needed more. I needed to go out and see the world. So I went and I spent a year at Trinity College in Dublin, and I studied human rights law and politics, and worked for Sinn Féin, and went up to Northern Ireland and got involved in conflict resolution in Derry, and came back here pumped and ready to go my last year, ready to go work in conflict resolution and help in emerging societies. And I went and I did an internship in Cambridge, Massachusetts at Cultural Survival, which was an indigenous rights organization. And I was ready. I was ready to go to graduate school. I was going to go to LSE. I was going to get my degree and move on and help save the world. And then I saw Governor Howard Dean speak. And knowing what I knew about him, his political positions, how he stood up for civil rights here in the state of Vermont, I was captivated. And a year and a half later, after following Dean around to Wisconsin, joining the Kerry campaign, going and working for Senator Obama to help support his campaign in Chicago and for Russ Feingold in Wisconsin, I found myself unemployed after the November election. And I had accumulated an immense amount of skills, of belief in my own capacity to make things work in all types of funky situations, and I had acquired a great fiance, who's here in the audience, after 2 months on the campaign trail. But I didn't have a job. So I did what anybody would do. I moved to Boston. And we got an apartment. And our last check from the campaign paid for the security deposit and first month's rent. And I started networking and I started calling friends, and I had 2 interviews. And the first interview was with a guy who was going to run for governor. So very familiar job position as a fundraiser. His name was Deval Patrick. Woo. So I interviewed Deval and I thought, okay, this could be an option. And I had another interview. The interview was with a stem cell researcher at Harvard who was just tapped to be the dean of a new divisional structure, life sciences. And I thought, man, do I stick with what I know? And Duvall is a really captivating candidate. I don't know anything about biology. But I needed to make money. And actually, honestly, after a year and a half on the campaign, living in different cities, the idea of a static paycheck really made a lot of sense. And I was really intrigued by this idea of going back to the academy. I love Green Mountain. I love my time here. So I signed up. And I made double what I had been making on the campaign. I had a paycheck, and I had a mentor who would give me the opportunity over the next 10 years to move from an executive assistant to an assistant dean focused on the general education and the teaching programs at Harvard College. And it was an incredible experience. I got to marry my political experience by advising Governor Patrick with my boss at the time on stem cell policies. I ended up working in a stem cell lab focused on federal and state stem cell initiatives. I did my master's thesis on stem cell policy and got involved in teaching. And I continue to this day. It's my 8th year teaching at Harvard in both the college and the extension school. After a few years, I continued to evolve, I continued to grow, I went up the ladder, and I was approached by an opportunity to take this role as a dean, and I was really happy. I was working with faculty across the spectrum, not just in the sciences. Loved working with the philosophers and the economists and the law school faculty and the business school faculty. And really growing those skills and starting to do my higher education studies. And really feeling like I was having an impact. Educating students, teaching, doing my own research, really helping shepherd through initiatives at Harvard College that were focused on empowering this generation of incredible students to go out and change the world. And then I got a phone call, and it was a recruiter, and they said there was a position in HR at an organization, would I be interested? And I said no. And they said, well, just step back. Why don't you think about it? So I did, and I talked to them. They said, why don't you go in and talk to the chief people officer there? And this was the Broad Institute. And I had known Broad because I had worked in science, and I was familiar with what they did, but honestly, I didn't like HR, never had great experiences with HR, and learning and development, people development, wasn't really something that I was aware of. It was a totally novel field to me. In my first interview, I said, you know what, I really don't know what this means. It's all jargon to me. And it was the most transformative decision I've made in my life, deciding to go to Broad. What it helped me do, and the reason I'm telling this story, is it helped me recognize that there are these pivot points in our lives. And all of you will see this in your careers where there's an opportunity to stick with what you know. Build on existing knowledge. Continue to be comfortable, to find value in what you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are also opportunities where where you can fundamentally alter your approach, build new skills, give yourself greater latitude, and do something that will just absolutely astonish you. And so, what do I do now? Well, I spend my days working with some of the world's top scientists, software engineers, project managers, to help them understand how do we take all this expertise and put it together in a way that fundamentally changes how we treat human disease. And how am I able to do that? Well, I have political skills that I developed on a campaign. I have communication skills that I developed at Green Mountain. I have a broad understanding of liberal arts, economics, philosophy, politics. I have an incredible network of people who I've turned to both here in politics, in academia. And because of my education here, I'm fearless. Not because I'm afraid of failing. I'll fail. I failed before. My first 5 months abroad were very hard. But because I know that what you learn in the liberal arts is that there is no certainty. There are many different ways to look at an issue. There are many ways to approach how you get up and you move ahead. And at the end of the day, the search for knowledge and the constant evolution of your skills, of who you are, of what you do, As long as you stay true to that, and as long as you are unafraid to fail, you're going to progress and you're going to make an impact in the world. So that's my story. It's been incredible to hear those of both of you. And as anyone who's heard me talk about Green Mountain knows, one of the reasons I love the college, after spending the last decade or so in a different campus community, is that here, to this day, I've yet to find people like I find here at Green Mountain. You are all fearless. You are all unconventional. You know, as Chuck said before, there's this movement against the grain in both faculty and students and alumni. I haven't seen it anywhere else. That's why I'm still here. This is why I keep coming back. And that's why it's my incredible honor to be here today.